2 of day 1 of the Tony Earls trial. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and see part 1. It should be right before this video. Also, there's a video before that as well, setting up the stage for Tony Earls, his trial, and breaking bond with Fox 26 News Houston, and how the politics of the shooting is impacting everything and why we're all here to begin with. Now, the first person that the prosecution calls up is Officer Stevens with HPD, who is the person who's wearing the body cam and really taking the bulk of Mr. Alvarez's statement. Officer Stevens basically arrives at the scene and he starts talking to another officer who has kind of preliminarily gotten some information, and he's like, okay, you know, there was a shooting, someone's robbed, and that's where we are. And in the background, EMS, they're addressing Arlene. Now, a big part of this is they are showing the body cam footage to the jury, and we can see Stevens talking to the cop. We can see him talking to Alvarez. Alvarez is saying, yeah, they were shooting it. Yeah, they were shooting at each other. The guy thought that, you know, I was the one who robbed him.
Well, they were just driving by. They shot the gun at the person getting robbed.
Arlene, Wendy, go back there. You have to go.
Somebody over there.
You have to go with Arlene. Fuck this truck. Don't worry about this.
That's the dad.
That's the dad. That's mom. Mom's going with him.
Yeah.
Hey, ambulance 4 is going to more. No, it's just me and Zach right now. I need someone to go to that location. More from an ambulance 40. Yeah. There's a black guy living here, and I guess he robbed the guy in the car, and he just randomly started shooting. I was going that way. I went this way, I turned around. I was going that way. Hey, let's leave it right now. First unit right there, follow them, escort them out there. She got a GSW to the head.
The last person on the 18.
Okay.
He was on. I think one of us just.
Okay. All right, we're gonna get this guy. Okay, trust me, man. We're gonna get him. Okay. Yeah, we're taking the hospital. Okay. So let's get this going first. Okay. It's your truck. What happened?
I just want to pause there for a moment, Officer Stevens. Who do we see you talking to here in your body-worn camera?
That's going to be Armando.
And
And again, remember, as this is happening, EMS is there, fire department's there, other cops are there. There's just all kinds of stuff going on, and it's loud, it's chaotic. At some point, Arlene's mother is like, you know, I'm gonna go, you know, get in the ambulance, and he's like, okay, go ahead and go, so he can go ahead and talk to Officer Stevens and kind of, you know, lay out what happened. And Mr. Alvarez is kind of setting up the scene. He's saying there's a black guy over here, and I think he robbed the guy in the car, and he just ran up and started shooting. And at some point, Mr. Alvarez says he thought I was the guy who. So the jury is looking at this footage, listening to what's being said. The prosecution is just basically confirming what they are seeing, confirming what Mr. Stevens or Officer Stevens' role is during all of this, which is to secure the scene, to take, you know, initial statements, to do the best he can to protect any evidence for the investigation. At this point, Officer Stevens knows that he's there for, you know, for Arlene. Mr. Alvarez does take him over to where Mr. Earls was shooting, which is by the ATM through the drive-through of the bank. And as they get over there, Officer Stevens notices there's shell casings on the ground. And I think there's another officer present. He's like, don't touch that, back away. So he's trying to keep the area secure, which is exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And something important to point out here is that throughout all this, nobody's done anything wrong. I don't think there's anything, you know, Officer Stevens did everything he was supposed to do. Mr. Alvarez was he held himself together very well under the circumstances, was forthcoming with information. So again, as always, this is a terrible series of events where so many people were impacted. Also, as Mr. Alvarez is showing what happened, he talks about all his stuff being on the ground. You can't really see it, but he points over to the area where he was driving. And then the defense starts doing their cross-examination. Now, I say cross-examination, but really and truly, a lot of this is just confirming what they've already known and asking some more detailed follow-up questions to, again, further confirm certain things. And the defense attorney at this time, bald-headed white guy, glasses, amazing job. Amazing job. He's basically reaffirming the good job that Officer Stevens did, confirming what his role was as far as securing the scene, gathering statements, and letting him know that, you know, none of my questions are about you doing anything wrong. That is not what this is, and it's not. The defense attorney basically reaffirms that, you know, so you're here because, you know, dispatch sent you to, you know, this location because someone needs medical attention, someone's been shot in the head. And he's like, yes. And defense basically says, so you're coming in here blind. You're just going off of, you know you're here for a call. You get there and you start talking to whoever's on scene, which in this case is Mr. Alvarez, and you're just gathering information. You really don't know about anything else pulse at this time. And what he's trying to establish is that at this time, when they're securing the scene, Officer Stevens is not really fully aware of the whole scene, basically. And Mr. Alvarez is walking him over to the ATM in that area and saying, this is where the guy shot me from, blah, blah, blah. And he's also talking about, when you secure a scene, you put the tape up. You make sure nobody goes there. And, Officer Stevens is able to affirm and say yes. Basically, everything that the defense attorney is asking him, he's able to affirm and say yes, yes, yes. Absolutely, this is what's going on. The defense also talks about how at some point the burglary division is contacted because, and it doesn't say it during this time, but ultimately Mr. Earls has contacted 911 to say that he was robbed at the ATM. So at some point he has major assaults here because at this time Arlene has just been shot. So major assault is going to be a division that's included in this process. Also robbery is going to be included in this process. And then finally homicide will then also be included in this process. So there's people all around doing their things. And then at some point during the defense, he mentioned something about, Mr. Earls has, the right to, shoot similar to like you do, due to Texas law, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yes. And then the defense, after he has set the stage that the scene wasn't fully secure, the prosecution wants to do another question. And he's like, Officer Stevens, but you're not allowed to shoot anybody in the back, are you? And Officer Stevens is like, well, no. And the defense is like, he objects, basically. And so the judge is like, can't ask that question. And prosecution's like, well, he just asked another question about legality. And so prosecution just changes the question. And he's able to get the answer that no, that he can't shoot somebody in the back, basically. Which is an interesting assertion because ultimately, as I showed you in the last video, there are laws that allow for him to try and recover the property that was stolen from him using deadly force. And that's basically the end of Officer Stevens' testimony at this time. I think they said, we may call you later. And then it's time for Arlene's father, Mr. Alvarez, to come up to the stand. And I'm going to do that in another video. So let me know what you think. Follow, repost.